Okay, we're all set, go ahead.
Okay, today is August 12th, time is 6 o'clock. It's the meeting of the Board of Health of the town of Northborough is not called to order. My name is Glenn French, and I'm the chairman for the Board of Health. This is an open meeting of the Northborough Board of Health being conducted in person and remotely, consistent with Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025 relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency. Public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. Members of the public who wish to view the live stream or recording of this meeting may do so by going to Northborough Remote Meetings on YouTube via the link listed on the agenda. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment. Okay, with that in mind, we take a roll call. We've got Philippe Jane,
Present.
and Lisa Johnson, and myself, Glenn French. With that in mind, we're gonna go right into it. We have a lot of things on the meeting. We're gonna skip to the agenda. Item 3, which is the well permit variance for 311 Crawford Street. And that's as far as I'm going with the intro.
Sure, so I can, it's a little background, I know these gentlemen are representing 311 Crawford Street. In the past, they've applied for a well permit for a drinking water well, and when it was tested, it came up high in arsenic. So our regulations read that any kind of potential solution to address that issue needs to come before the board to be heard. So basically, they're gonna propose a solution on how the arsenic issue can be addressed. So you guys have the floor.
Yep, so looking at the water quality test results along with the well completion report when the well was drilled originally. The level is higher than what the state DEP recommendation is. Arsenic is fairly easily removable with an absorption medium. The proposal that I have proposed includes other things than just the arsenic. There's elevated levels of iron in the water, along with low pH in the water, and hardness in the water. Okay, all of those items will expend the life expectancy of the arsenic medium. So we have to correct that first. Okay, so I propose a multimedia filter previous to a water softener, and then with a twin tank arsenic removal unit. Arsenic is odorless, tasteless, has no distinctive staining, so you do not know when it's in the water. The reason I personally use a twin tank system is it comes in and goes into the first tank, out of the first tank into the second tank. So if the first tank becomes expired, the media has become fouled, you're still not getting arsenic into the system because the second tank will take care of the arsenic. The particular system that I proposed comes with a testing program from the manufacturer. It's a 2-year testing program. It will test at 6 months, it will test at 15 months, and it will test at 24 months for arsenic. That arsenic testing will be raw water, intermediate water, which is between the 2 tanks, and post, which is after both tanks. When the first tank becomes fouled, it'll get myself and the owners will get notification by email. Your media is fouled, we need to service it. The service procedure would be move the first tank, take the second tank, put it first, and then put a brand new tank in last. When that happens, they get an additional 2-year testing with it. And the same cycle happens over and over. Looking at the results, and it really is based on water usage, how much water they use. These are larger units. They're proposing a large home with a lot of bathrooms. So we need to go with bigger, which means more media for the flow. If they're using 2 showers and a faucet at the same time, we have the treatment capability of doing so. That being said, the more media means the more arsenic it can treat as well. So my calculated guess is that they're gonna get more than 2 years out of it with the testing, or with the removal. Once the 2-year testing program is up, everybody will get an email again saying our program is completed. contact us and you can buy additional testing, and that's what I always recommend. The manufacturer actually databases all the results. I can, to this day, still call on a program that I put in 15 years ago and see if the elevated levels are getting elevated, why are we going through media quicker? Or if there's an issue, we can see what all the testing comes out as. So that's what I always recommend. I'm guessing they're probably gonna get anywhere between 3 to 5 years out of the first tank. So the second tank doesn't do any arsenic removal until that first tank has become expired. So it gives you the always having no arsenic in the system.
Is arsenic around here something we're finding a lot of? There's a common
So
problem.
there's a geological, I've done water filtration for almost 30 years now. There's a geological known vein of arsenic from Nova Scotia right down the east coast. It comes right down through New Hampshire, right through Maine, through Massachusetts, down to Connecticut and Rhode Island. I'm from just outside of Worcester, so in Charlton, I'm not that far. Leicester and Cherry Valley is very, very high content, right down through like Thompson, North Oxford, it's extremely high in those areas. Moving a little bit further out this way, I've done some systems in Sherborne. It's not as prevalent, coming this far. But I don't see that much either. There's also a lot of city water,
Right.
the more you come out. So the more rural areas, yes, we see it. This is probably a 3 to 4 time a month system that I install with the arsenic in my area anyways.
So it's not like a filter you're replacing the entire tank.
So correct, there's no cartridges to replace on this. When the time comes to change it, I physically take the entire vessel out. I get a whole new tank, all new media. That tank actually goes back. It's part of the testing program. They dispose of the media. The media is not hazardous material. It's an absorption media. Once that media has become foul, it doesn't displace arsenic. Once it's done absorbing, it just can't. It will let it pass through whatever's coming in. Goes to the second one. The second one will absorb it. So the level when that tank has become fouled is still the same as the raw water and after the tank once it's become fouled. I'll be honest with you, I don't know how they dispose of it. That's their program. That's but yes, I get a complete new tank with loaded.
They're at the river.
Yeah, because they go to New Hampshire, so whatever they do with it, it's all coming down this way. But yeah, they dispose of it and recycle it the way they need to. But again, it's not hazardous or anything like that. It doesn't pose any health
And
concerns
the
that way.
monitoring place individually for both tanks?
Excuse me?
Does the monitoring or is there?
Yeah, so there's
tanks
every-
that tell you
every-
how much?
Yes, every sample that happens, there is the control valve on this unit has 3 sample taps. And their sample taps are actually the same valves that they use on a dentist chair to fill the cups. So way back when in Hudson, Mass, it was a company called Solmex. They invented this system in the program. They've since been bought out 3 times and sold, for millions of dollars and evolving, but that's the one variable that stays the same. It's still the same valves that they use, still the same testing program, the same heads and everything. So you get a raw water sample, which is before the system, in between the 2 tanks, and then after the tanks. 3 samples, 3 times in 2 years. So you get 9 samples in the course of 2 years. Once that has happened after the first 2 years, again, the homeowner has to buy additional testing. I get an email. I usually send a text. Hey, everything looks good. Call in and spend a couple $100 and buy an additional 2 years of testing.
Right.
And then when you do have to replace the vessel, it re-ups your 2 years. They dispose of the tank and the media, give me everything new. Swap the tanks around. It's a lead lag. So if we don't know if on the 24th month we're clean, 26 months it could be coming through, let's say.
Yeah.
So 6 months, 4 months later, okay, we have breakthrough, but the second tank is taking care of it. So there's always always a backup.
So
Yeah.
there's no active monitoring of it, it's only when you send
Yes, there is no,
So it's
there's
nothing-
nothing, there's no alarm, there's
That's what I'm
nothing,
saying, there's nothing like that.
there's nothing you can do.
Books.
Yeah, no, there's nothing, only,
I get an email.
no, so the email was based on the testing.
Test results.
On the
Oh.
yes,
Test results.
there's nothing, you can't test arsenic as it's going, as it's going through, it's a lab analysis that they have to
It's
do.
not real time.
Incorrect.
So the whole.
But that's why they have their second tank, to
Correct.
prevent that.
Yes, that's why you have, they make a single tank system, I mean, that's all. I did. If you could see a staining or a smell, like if it was distinctive, sure, you could put a single tank in and, you hope that the people will say, okay, yeah, let's save them some money on the initial install, but you hope that they're gonna take care of it. You also hope that, it's arsenic, it's, the legal limit in the 30 years that I've done it. Went from 0.05 to 0.01. It's the only thing I've ever seen in the Mass DEP change and drop significantly. And that was around 2001-ish. I've been doing a lot of water tests from 96 to 2000, 2001. And in Leicester and Rochdale and all those areas, and the arsenic was fine. We're 0.03, 0.02, 0.04.
Where,
Arsenic was fine. The housing boom hit, people were selling their house, doubling their price of their house, and somebody else was testing the water. Arsenic was high. If it wasn't high when I bought it, they changed the levels. So the health concern issue of it is there. So if you gotta treat it, you gotta treat it right.
How about failure of the systems?
I personally have never had failure. I put a system in last week, and took a sample, brought it to the lab, and I could do one on an existing house and have a closing in 5 days, and I 100% confidently can say, I've never had a failure. I could take a sample and I know it's gonna be clean when you come back. The one I did last week was a smaller house, I'm going 1.5 bath house, and I wanna say they were at a 0.043, some 0.042, and I brought it less than 0.0005, which is the minimum detection level. No lab in no certified lab can say 0, because there's a minimum detection level, and that's what they can do. They can say less than that. We can't say it's 0, but it's less than what we can detect.
Good P value.
here's my simple question. Why do we need a variance on this? What's the option?
So it fails any kind of alternate, so typically always the top priority is connecting to town water, but when that's not feasible. Then that would be the next best option is filtration system, way of kind of addressing it, so. Any alternate option beyond what can be done in terms of that needs to go before the Board of Health for approval.
It's not water over at Crawford,
As I understand it, that can't be connected.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a cheap.
And I should note,
no, this is not cheap either, but it's like $1 million attached to the town water. Well, I had no. So we're really talking about the arsenic, the water softener is.
It's all.
Yeah, according to what I read in your regulations, the iron and manganese and hardness are all secondary contaminants in the whole state.
Right.
They're not primary health concerns, it's the arsenic. However, for longevity, if you were to put a system, two things, if you were to put a system in for just the arsenic and not take care of those other issues, they're gonna get immense staining in the laundry and the toilets and the sinks everywhere. It's like, it's that bad. Everywhere, hair, but the media will absorb all that stuff. It won't take it all out. You barely would get a year out of the media, the arsenic media. You ruin the arsenic media.
So it's part of
It's probably
part
correct.
of the
It's a solution, correct.
They have some business tanks every year.
Honestly, at 6 parts per million of iron, it could be every 6 months.
Yeah.
And like you said, we could probably get 3 to 5 years out of one tank, out of one vessel, with the proper treatment. Nobody wants dirty water, so we kind of have to.
I think this is the solution for arsenic, as far as I can tell.
So just keep it curious, in what order do these three things go?
It will, so because of the size of the home and the well is a very good producing well and they have a large pump in the well. I'm putting 2 filters in and I'll put it in what they call in parallel. So it'll come in and we'll split in half, will go to one, half will go to the other. So we can get the volume of the treatment. So those will be first. And then the water softener, which is considered a conditioner. Conditioning water with resin like that. I can put in the same size tank as one filter and I can treat double. Same thing with the arsenic. The arsenic is a resin. So same thing, one smaller tank will do the same amount as the 2 size tanks for the filter. So it'll be 2 filters, water softener, 2 arsenic tanks.
So if that's how you go.
Yeah, that's how it'll go.
So
Yep,
that's-
the order of the proposal that I is exactly how it would go in installation wise.
So the output comes from the arsenic tank.
Correct. The arsenic is the last.
Yeah, so 1, 2, 3.
There's 3 items, but there's actually 5 tanks.
Yeah. 2 filters and 2 arsenic.
Correct. Correct.
Questions?
Can I ask a question slash
Sure.
comment? I guess, one thing I wanna know is there gonna be a mechanism so this doesn't kind of get lost in the grapevine? You know, as the house, you know, in the future might get sold, that's kind of one of the things I wanna see personally, is to say, you know, the owners of the house, they lived there 5 years, they're on top of maintaining it. I don't want the future owners of the house to not know that there's an arsenic issue. So that's kind of my.
So I'm going to say this, knowing his business partner and knowing what he's building for a house, this is not gonna be a $200,000 house, this is gonna be a fairly expensive home. Whoever is going to buy it in the future is gonna hopefully go down and say, and from what I've known of his business partner, and I'm sure he's exactly the same, he is gonna be very upfront with it. Even his business partner, the house he sold in Sherborne, he paid me for to go there to do a service call on his existing system and explain everything to the new buyers. Is there anything that can be done about it? No, I mean, everything's labeled, so you know, there's tags there on the units to know what it is. In my experience in Massachusetts, there's nothing on an existing home being sold legality wise that the town or the state or anybody can do. It's solely up to the buyer of the property to do a water quality and a water quantity test and ask the questions is, what is this? This equipment is gonna take up as much space as this table is long. It's gonna be an elaborate system. Hopefully someone that is spending that kind of money on a home is gonna say, what is this? You know, like I need to do some research. My number will be on it and you know, if he builds a home and lives there for 6 months and leaves for whatever reason, I still warranty it to the house. I don't warranty it to the person that bought it. So my number is gonna be on it as well. So I'm not gonna just say, oh no, you don't know, you know, I put it in, you're out of luck. But like I said, I've done this for 30 years, so my name is well out there for that. But again, there's no legality, no recourse, you know, that.
I think, you know, 2 things, one, it would show up on an inspection report if you get an
Correct.
inspection, number 1, number 2 is. Right now, radon's all over New England, right, so no one asks, or it's not something you disclose, so that somebody sees the radon mitigation system in your house, there's no, what the heck is this? Goes up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like,
You could consider it.
Yeah.
Or test it.
There wouldn't be a deed restriction,
no,
because it's not.
If it's not in your regulations, I don't.
No, it wouldn't be.
it wouldn't be.
I think the 2 big tanks in the middle of the system might, or the end of the system.
Should be a pretty
Be a little
good.
red flag.
Some should be things, that we have to ask.
So they have a skull and crossbone?
So there is equipment out there that is used that uses some medias that are like that.
Yeah.
And it's for a reason, and it's purple, and if the water becomes purple, you know that there's a problem with the system. This system does not have that. You know, and I personally don't like to use that because I use it on some bigger commercial properties that engineers require to use it. But even as of now, the state is not allowing us to use it to dump for backwash purposes into a dry well or nothing goes into the septic, it's against the law. We'll have to figure out a perimeter drain or, you know, what you guys are gonna require. You know, a UIC chamber for backwash for the softener and the filter. The arsenic does no backwashing, it's just in and out.
Right.
That's it. So there's no worry about that. It's just your basic everyday stuff. I even asked, is it town sewer over there? Is there gonna be something? I think it's septic, so we can figure out what, you know, the UIC chambers is what everybody is doing now. You know, underground infiltration chamber. You know, just to keep it away from the well and you know, similar to the septic systems designs.
All right, well, I have no further questions, it makes sense. I think there's no other alternative, so. With that in mind, I don't have a variance written out, but I move to allow the variance from attaching to town water to installation of this treatment system to take care of the arsenic over at 311 Crawford Street as proposed.
Thank you.
Second.
All those in favor?
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Very good.
Thanks for coming in. Take care.
Not connected. They can't connect from what's that's the hardship. Alright. First, you wanna take over or should we?
For sure, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Let's go there. 86 Whitman Street.
Alright, so I got 86 Whitney Street for you today, they're proposing, or they're requesting rather, a variance from local regulations. They are looking to repair a septic system. And the variance they're requesting is a leach field separation from the wetlands. We have a local regulation in town requiring all septic system components to be 100 feet from the wetlands. They can only get 58 feet, sorry, that's a little hard to read. You can kind of see the those kind of topographical lines that curve to the right of, on the property, on the plot. Those kind of showing the buffers to the wetlands, and you can see the little weed looking icons, the wetlands themselves. So I am kind of the thought, two things. It does meet Title V's requirements, which is 50 feet from the wetlands. As well as, I don't see any other part of the property where this repair could go. It's pretty tight. Half of their land is in the wetlands, so certainly can't go down there. As well as you can see, it's quite a steep drop off of a hill into the wetlands. So they're asking for a variance from our local rights.
And Vinny,
And Vinny, our conservation agent, he looked over, he did an inspection of their sediment control barrier, which he often requires when they're working near the wetlands, and he gave him the okay.
Is that dash line barrier?
That's right.
That's a poly barrier, so it's gonna slow down.
Yeah,
How close are they to the adjacent property? 15 feet?
they are over 15 feet.
And that's okay.
Mhm.
50.
That makes requirement.
So wetlands is already said, just this 100 to 58 foot variance is acceptable to them.
it is.
So normally it comes here and then we
Shipping.
send it over there.
They were given an order of conditions by conservation, so. Good on there.
There's nowhere else to put it.
I would agree.
There's a hardship.
I moved to approve it.
No, I'm gonna second it. Thank you.
Just trying to help you. You have a lot to do.
All those in favor? Aye. Good. 100 to 58. Washburn Street.
Excellent, so we have 107 Washburn Street as well, they were requesting a local upgrade approval. This is very similar to the one we looked at the last meeting on Tomahawk Drive. They're proposing the use of the Elgin system to kind of accommodate for very high groundwater. You can see they also have wetlands at the rear of their property, they are trying to meet our 100-foot setback requirements there. Okay, it becomes another kind of scenario where if there's not many places I could otherwise put it. So they're proposing the use of the Elgin system because, Mass DEP gives them the approval to reduce groundwater from 4 to a minimum of 2. They're looking to meet in the middle because they were able to get 3 feet of separation from groundwater. So that is what they're proposing.
That was the same as last time.
Yeah, it's very
That's
similar,
right?
yeah. So I did the soil testing over there, the water was very high, the system's gonna be mounded a little bit, it's gonna come up in their backyard so they can get that separation.
Really good systems.
Yeah, the only alternate is, well, the front yard, you can kind of see that there's the driveway as well,
Yeah.
it's not. It's not as viable,
Round,
exactly,
round in your right there.
and then anything going further to the left on plot would put it closer to the wetlands.
Where's their well?
There's no well.
Oh, they have town water?
Yeah, they're connected to water, that's also a reason that front yard can't be used as the water and gas lines in the front yard.
How far is it to wetlands?
100 feet.
100 feet, 100 feet, 6 inches.
Lisa, you wanna take this one?
Sure.
Take a vote.
Move,
joke.
move to approve. Can I get you water?
I second that.
Okay.
All those in favor? Unanimous. If anyone excuse me for a minute, I've got a cough.
Can I get you some water?
No, it's one of these halls. I thought, fine.
If it were that, this. Second.
Oh. You're.
No. Okay. We have a discussion on animal keeping regulations. I see we have our friends from over down the road. Not really taking public comments on this. We're just going to discuss. We've heard you. Last time. You can say good evening, everybody. As far as this goes, we've been given the minimum standards for the keeping of animals.
So these are animal keeping regulations, a template from the Massachusetts Association of Health Board, so their attorneys have helped other communities. So these are kind of their draft documents, but as you can see, there's blanks for you to fill in, there's asterisks, so you kind of have to go through it and decide what would work at our level. You also don't need to use these as well.
Yeah, it seems like an awful lot, but this would cover donkeys and goats and.
All wise.
I'm not sure I really want to get into all livestock,
Yeah,
you know,
just
it's just foul. Right? I mean, that's
I
me,
suppose at this time, I mean.
that's what I was saying. As far as keeping chickens. You know, I've gone through a bunch of different regulations for the keeping of chickens in smaller towns. And it seems like the general idea is anyone over a quarter acre can keep chickens. And all these regulations, there's the minimum lot size. And it really seems to allow up to 6 hens on lots of a certain size, which is 15,000 square feet. A quarter acre. And then it goes into larger lots, allow additional hens for larger lots, you know. And those would require a special permit. There'd be no roosters.
Depending on the size of the property.
I guess you could, you know, yes, because of noise, specifically because of noise disturbance.
Right.
Now, we've had this in the past. Where, for whatever reason, no roosters being allowed. And what they do, or the people didn't want the roosters, so what they do, I guess, is they bring the rooster in. They like rent a rooster, comes in, takes care of business, and then goes away
Sure,
and
so temporary
yeah. That's
conjugal visits or.
that's exactly right. So that was the rooster issue. No commercial use, so specify that keeping chickens is for personal use only. And prohibit the commercial sale of eggs or meat.
So
That's,
does that mean that people can't put a sign outside that says eggs for sale?
well, this
$8 a
is
ton?
Board of Health stuff, I'm not sure if we want that or don't want that.
It's gonna help our reaching regulation.
I don't,
It's a little nanny state.
okay. And housing in setbacks. You know. We've got chickens must be kept secure, predator resistant enclosure. 2 to 4 square feet of indoor space per bird. Weatherproof, well ventilated, nesting boxes and roosts. Elevate the coops to prevent the predators from digging in. So that's the coop requirements, and we've got setbacks. Minimum distances from property lines, which is what you're interested in. I've got anywhere from 10 to 20 feet from a property line. Those are the regulations, you know?
I asked Jennifer, Condon, our animal inspector, and she had recommended at least
15, so right in the middle.
And I think the process that she described is that anyone who's interested in having chickens or any animal would reach out to us via a permit, and then either Chris, our health agent, or Jennifer through animal inspector would go out, visit the property along with our regulations and make a suggestion of where and go over best practices, recommendations, and then she would do yearly inspections.
Prior to the issuance of any permit, that makes
I do.
sense.
So how common is this practice? Permitting and animal inspections.
So any animals should be having annual inspections.
Any animals, so you're,
Any livestock.
Any livestock.
any livestock. So we've got that going.
So, you didn't know this?
So when we are aware of the animals, so say this property, yes, now they would be getting annual inspections.
Okay.
Well, I had
That's not-
goats when the kids were growing up, I had 2 goats, should I
Really?
notify the town and got a permit for them?
No, we
No,
don't have.
because they don't have permit.
Yeah, not. Yeah. Then you will be on record. Then the inspection will take place for second food inspections.
What is the we wanna get into the goats?
No.
I don't wanna.
You asked. so-
Yeah, no, I'm asking this general question.
My thought. House, able that.
Yeah, like that big seasons.
Be responsible.
Yeah, because I know
It seems like a thing.
there's some people up in
Maybe they have.
there's people with like alpacas.
Yeah.
Right,
Oh,
They're up on Howard Street, off of Howard Street.
Howard and Rice had them too for a while. Like,
Yeah.
there for.
But then again, we're looking at that condition where he was killing people up.
Oh, that's,
Remember that?
Well. There's always gonna be the outliers,
oh,
right?
yes. I don't think he's around anymore. You mean the guy over on
Mm-hmm.
Whitney?
Yep.
No, that's all pets.
They're
Yeah,
not included.
if we do an overall regulation for all animals, all
Livestock.
thank you. Then we don't have to deal with this ever again.
Exactly.
This seems really regimented. very-
Yeah, this is a
Very.
big, well, this is the. Covers everything, yeah,
But then, they would know. They don't want, they'd have to get a permit. They'd have certain criteria, but some people, they may not be aware of companies being different.
Yeah,
So this is some education thing.
yeah,
That, land they're going over, maybe in. I'm not saying we should ban that, but not.
So- That's a good question. So does anyone know how often we had things in town about fowl? Other than wild turkeys?
it's coming here. Very, very rarely, it was because the one chicken kept getting out. And going in the neighbor's yard, That's the only time I remember anybody complaining,
A lot of people have
I've been in-
chickens.
30
A
years.
lot of people have chickens in this town.
They do?
They do. We just got rid of ours. We had them for 40. We had 2 rounds of chickens for 4 years, full disclosure. I need a break. A lot of eggs.
Yeah,
But I mean, not the same situation. We had a lot of land, and we kept them in a run, in a coop, we
Yeah.
let them wild. We were done with them, we either killed them or we gave them away. So, I walk around my neighborhood a lot and I can tell you there's about 10 different homes that have chickens.
yeah,
And sometimes they're selling eggs, sometimes they're not, kids are involved. It's really, I think, up to the homeowner to be responsible, and we just haven't had negative feedback. Nobody's worried about their property values, and nobody's been ill. I think it's worth a conversation to at least have a higher level, let's be mindful of not being too close to property here. But there's. So, I think I wanna be mindful of that and that we haven't had an issue other than a few wild or stray chickens.
Okay, yeah,
I was gonna say, we're probably gonna say the
Yeah.
same thing, with anecdotally of the complaints I've gotten more often than not, it's roosters. It's
Yeah.
a mass issue, yeah.
So you should, I think
That's
you're
something
not
to
supposed to
consider.
have a rooster if they're within 500 feet of another dwelling. I thought, or maybe that was another.
It can be
well, I
one
don't know
of
roosters.
regulations, in more densely populated towns, roosters are prohibited.
That seemed to come up a lot,
That's reasonable, that is a.
prohibit roosters in residential areas. Due to potential noise.
Yeah.
and typically if we had a rooster right now, Chris has gone out and described best practices, is there any mitigation to reduce? There are a handful of rooster owners, it's really.
And so maybe that's the answer is on these occasions, something comes up to address it at that time. Just a thought, just. It's okay, be awesome.
So your position really is that we don't really require that a regulation for fowl isn't really required.
My point would be, where is the health issue? Because we're not seeing that in the
I have to show you.
It's a little
It's
overreaching.
the disease.
Yeah. Well,
Well, we're aware of CDC
yes,
and salmonella, lots of
That's not a joke,
but
it's not, no one's saying it's a joke,
No,
we're spending
no,
some time,
but it's,
and we're looking at whether a regulation's required.
I think regulations are good.
It's still not gonna help this particular issue, I can tell you right now,
Why?
because they have an acre of land. They have an acre of land, they have a clean as can be chicken set up. Both the Board of Health, the animal control office has been out there, the building department's been out there. And Board of Health has now listened to both of them, and it doesn't seem to be a problem.
Doesn't mean, it doesn't mean.
We're not gonna be banning chickens, and I'll tell you right now. And I'm not being fresh on this thing, I understand your concerns. But I'll tell you right now, even if we pass these regulations. They're gonna fit into the mold, they're gonna fit into the permit.
But at least there'll be rules, even if they fit into the permit. I mean, we should know how many chickens are out there. We should know what, like,
Why should you know?
because you know what, you tax us a lot. We have high taxes in this.
we all
city.
pay taxes.
We all
We
pay taxes.
don't tax.
They should be paying permits for their chickens, for the number one. Number two, they should be inspected, and if they have a dirty coop, they should be fined.
Okay,
I think that's fair.
I understand what you're saying. But
And also, the people with health issues and seniors, health issues. These type of diseases that they can spread. Can cause people with health problems. Oh, yeah, right.
Well, the chickens are here. We're not gonna ban them, again, we discussed this last time. I'm not gonna get into the back and forth, we're not gonna be banning chickens. If there's a health concern, then put up a fence, I don't know what
But it
more
gets
we
in
can
the
tell you.
air. It knows it gets in the air.
Very small.
I've
Do you
never
go
had
to the
any complaints
dentist?
about it.
If you go to the
I
dentist,
have
there's so much aerosol that you breathe as soon as you
Yeah,
walk
all
into
sorts
the
of
building.
health
So I
concerns,
mean,
but anyway.
there's really a lot more bacteria in a dental office than with backyard chickens, unless you are going right up into the coop and eating it. So I think we need to be really realistic that we haven't had any issues with illnesses in town. And
Until we
just
do.
go from the larger.
Well, I don't know that you should have known if you do, because you said that there's never, anybody ever has any problems with chickens. There was just one person that's on the end of the street that my daughters went to school with. And he's not on your list. He said when he went down to the town, there's a lady across the street that has a goat and some chickens over by us, but in another neighborhood. He said he was told nothing he can do about it, it's just the way it is around here. And that's what he was told, and that's just one person, I didn't ask everybody in Northborough, I just happened to
Well,
ask one.
that's really not before us right now, so we're just.
No, but it's like, the attitude is, it's like, so,
It's,
The attitude is-
we're looking at what's before us, it's
Yeah.
not an attitude, we're looking at what's before us in town, what
Anyways,
things are.
there was not supposed to be any public comment.
There's not nothing.
Okay, so you guys, you're not supposed to be saying anything until the chairman allows you to do
You're
so.
listening to, you
You
know,
know,
reasoning.
you're not supposed to say anything,
I got it.
okay?
We don't have a cavalier attitude, it's a health concern that we're listening to and that we're exploring. Up till now, town's been here doing some odd years now. We haven't had a problem, complaints about people's health and chickens, up
Yeah.
till today. Till last
But
week,
but doesn't mean it won't change, it doesn't mean new
Let's
laws.
do the regulations.
that's what we're gonna do, whether we're gonna go full
Or we can. do-
animal regulations,
Sounds good.
or we're gonna do chicken regulations.
and this is the last thing, I know I'm not supposed to say anything.
Well, what is it?
My question is, wouldn't it be nice to know how many chickens, backyard chicken coops there are? Because I know that it's grown a lot in the last, couple of years, I mean,
But what is that gonna do?
because it makes a difference, if there are like 10 chicken coops on her, in her neighborhood, they're everywhere. I'd like to know that, because it's a health risk, it is.
It is.
It is, so if you want, walk down her street, there's these chickens,
For me, I.
I think the health risk is you don't want a chicken coop over
No,
where it is.
that's not.
That's what it seems to me. He didn't come in here, got set up,
Cause there wasn't a
trained on
chicken,
chickens,
there wasn't a chicken coop in our neighborhood that we ever even
there was
saw.
one down the road.
I never seen that.
I'm not gonna argue with it, we're not cavalier about it, I know what you're saying, okay?
We don't-
And I
we
don't wanna be,
You have your own opinions on, your own history, which is, but it's, you know, we know how many dogs are in the town, we know how many
Yeah.
cars are in the town, we know how many.
Dogs
You do?
carry rabies,
But
and that's
chickens
documented, but that's documented, and that's one of that's from a public health concern. I'm sorry, hold on a minute, excuse me, from a public health concern, rabies is very significant.
I know,
And you can't compare that to backyard chickens,
But
we
I
have
would like
no
to know that.
evidence to
I would
even
like to
compare it
know that.
to. So it's great that you'd like to know that, well, we're gonna look at the regulation if there are any.
I appreciate you letting us.
But there are other towns that have permit, they know how many
I
chickens are there.
understand.
They
But we're
also, there will be people too that don't take care of your chickens, this woman might. I'm sure she does or whatever, we don't know her, but there's others that.
We're looking at regulations for
And
chickens.
fines,
That's
fines
it.
should be there if you don't take care of,
There could be fines.
good, it would be better than everything else is, it should be.
And if you just,
Pros are beginning to look at this. Okay?
we would like a vet.
And you've made your point, I don't really wanna take up more of the evening, we have a lot of things to deal with.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now, again, we're going to take this under consideration and we're gonna bring it up at another date.
Thank you for listening to us.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention. Here it is, all right, so I'm gonna move on to the next. We're gonna take this out of a different page.
Table it.
Table it. West Nile virus. Now this, something more.
Our West Nile virus in Northborough was upgraded from low risk to moderate risk. There were 3
Yeah.
positive mosquitoes, tested, I think it was the end of. The day, I think it was July 31st. So we were notified by the state as well as the Central Massachusetts Mosquito Control Project, who is serviced by, or were serviced by them. They did spraying last night around the area. We have put out information through memos on town news, social media, and also been out in the community. So we were at the summer concert series on Sunday, and today we actually had an event at the senior center. So educating people widely about West Nile virus. We've been in communication with the schools because they're, sports outside, as well as youth sports, soccer. So we will continue to provide education and we will be notified if it increases to.
Oh, we went over that last year, didn't we? Came up with the protocol, and it worked pretty well, didn't it?
Yeah, so West Nile, there's no human cases, and then Triple E, there have been no positive mosquitoes in Northborough, there have been some around Boston. So that risk is still.
Now, those 3, do you remember those 3 mosquitoes? Were they all the same area? They
Yes.
were, weren't they?
There were, so it was one catch basin. So they have Central Massachusetts Mosquito Control Project has increased their surveillance, their testing, as well as put information or education signs on local places.
And as far as the spraying goes, the word goes out.
The word goes out through
Is
town
it
news,
just-
social media, and people can exclude their property,
So they opt out.
opt out, as well as request services, so both ends of the spectrum. Yeah.
Because they're situated in Norfolk, they do Norfolk very frequently.
Yeah.
Every Monday they're in.
Yeah, you get it done within a week here.
Good.
Any questions about mosquitoes?
No.
Yeah.
Go through the meeting minutes. Over those. Really? You have to read them.
Board member that's there to start. Start to look later. Yeah. We're relying on you. I know.
I passed through them. I found them. Dr. Jane,
And you-
finding mistakes.
Yeah, I usually pick up the
Gonna
record.
keep alive. Yeah.
But this came already, so I was able to get in between meetings, so.
What did you? You do a great job. So we're always grateful for the secretary.
No, these are good meetings, good minutes. They're so good, I'm gonna move to approve them as written,
Okay.
as recorded.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All that. Any other business? Quiet down.
Yeah, I think we're gearing up for the school year. We're actually partnering with Southborough Youth and Family to do a 9th grade program at the high school. It's called Rising Titans. Registration is still open. But it's a couple social workers and they're really gearing up for 9th graders who may be anxious about going to the high school, coping strategies, executive function.
Something.
So it's a 3-hour workshop at a school. So gearing up for that. And then we'll be at all of the open houses, giving out information, community education. Yeah, go more. Yeah, it's very time consuming, but
Yeah,
fortunate to have a level of support.
inform the masses.
Absolutely. Of our services and list,
Yeah,
ticks, mosquitoes, all of it.
all right. Oh, that mine.
Adjourn.
I would concur, that's.
I second.
All those in favor?
I
Good.